Chair of the Human Services Committee. Call the meeting to order at 3:09. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brown.
Here.
Commissioner Spear.
Here.
Commissioner Hughes.
Yes.
Commissioner Laring.
Yes.
Commissioner Nash.
Here.
Commissioner Pego.
Here.
Chairman Schoen.
Here.
Commissioner Wilkins. Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes. Here. Moving on to the approval of the minutes of July 13th, 2021. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. If we can do a voice vote to approve the minutes, please. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, public comment. I have one yellow sheet. Yes. Greg Scott, please.
Do I come up there? Yes.
Yeah, to the podium. You have 2 minutes.
We're going to adjust that microphone.
Thank you. My name is Greg Scott and I live in the city of Muskegon. I'm currently the chair of the Senior Activities Committee. And by the way, thank you. It's been a rewarding role and I appreciate your appointment. We try hard to bring you thoughtful and fiscally responsible recommendations from that committee. I'm here to simply urge you to approve the 4 items related to senior resources on your agenda. Our committee has worked with senior resources since the inception of the millage, and we've been supportive of their efforts to match the available funding with needs in the community. The first year was kind of a learning curve for everyone, but we're in a good place right now with their leadership. Senior Resources is the designated area agency on aging for this region. As such, they are uniquely positioned to administer grants, to coordinate information related to Medicare and Medicaid for seniors, and to disperse funds for in-home services. This is indeed their mission. With regard to the latter, in-home services are perhaps the single most important service we offer seniors to help them remain independent and avoid more expensive institutionalization. I believe that's the reason they were the only bidder for this RFP as the designated area agency on aging. They have years of experience and an established network of providers. They match their available state and federal funding with what comes from the county to keep administrative costs low. It's unlikely another entity could match this effectiveness or efficiency without more expense or with and avoid a duplication of resources. I believe your first item for consideration relative to a possible conflict of interest, if passed, will acknowledge that while there may have been a conflict with the wording of the original RFP, the last several years have proven that it's in the best interest of seniors and taxpayers to fully collaborate with our area agency on aging. Not doing so could waste time in implementing essential services or waste other resources. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I believe, is there anybody in the audience online? I believe Pam Curtis was going to speak.
Crystal's second voice.
There's nobody with hand raised.
Oh, anybody? Okay. Well, if she comes on later, I know she was planning on speaking. Maybe she didn't think we were going to be first. So we'll add her comments at the end. Okay. The items for
there is a hand up.
There is a hand
Oh,
up.
now there is. Yes, Steve Canham.
Okay. When I turn it on, I get, oh, Steve Canham. Would you?
Oh, this is actually Pam Curtis.
Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Thanks, Pam. Go ahead.
Well, I couldn't get on, and so I'm in Steve's office pinch hitting. So I apologize for the confusion. I wanted to just address agenda item HS 217-16, which is the first item on your agenda. Just to say, Senior Resources has been the area agency on aging for Muskegon, Ottawa, and Oceana counties for the past 47 years. We were designated by your predecessors and those in Oceana and Ottawa County, and have been providing those services since 1974. In 1996, we started providing case management and oversight of purchased services for in-home services, and have been doing that with the approval of the Administration for Community Living, which is our federal organization, and the Aging and Adult Services Agency, which is our state agency. They gave consideration to the same issue and found that there was no conflict of interest because we're providing the assessment services for the clients and not providing the direct hands-on care. And so I would just like to point that out that, you know, the federal and state folks have looked at this. They also provide significant oversight to us on this issue. And it is our hope that Muskegon County will see, you know, that we have the oversight. They're even willing to look at, the state's willing to look at what we're doing for Muskegon County when they come and audit us for the state on an annual basis.
Okay. Is that all, or would you like to speak to number 18 as well?
I assume number 18, I can't see an agenda. So I assume number 18 is the Medicare, Medicaid assistance program.
Okay, that's it.
The funding, okay. That is something that we were asked to apply for quite a few years ago, kind of, I think maybe in the second year of the millage. We were asked to provide that service because there is nobody else. We are designated by the state to provide that service, and there's nobody else available to do that that has that designation. It has to have specific training, specific knowledge base to pull that off. And so we were asked to apply for that funding. We reapplied last fall, and I think that we weren't expecting it on this actual decision, but we think it's an extension from what we were doing last fall so that the service will continue.
I asked her to speak, so that's why it's okay to continue. Is that it, Pam?
Yes, that's it. I don't know if that explains it well, but.
Okay. Okay, well, is there anybody else that has a hand up?
I don't see anyone.
I don't see anybody. Okay. All right. We'll continue on to HS 21-07-16. This is from Public Health, Kathy Moore. To make an exception and allow senior millage grants administrator to also receive senior activities and service grants, in-home care and supports coordination, not provision of service, and Medicare, Medicaid assistance program. So this is not any there's no hands-on care here. Is there a motion to approve? There's a motion to approve. A second?
I'll second.
Second, okay. Is there any concerns or questions?
I do.
Yes, Susie?
Yeah, I have some
Commissioner
concern
Hughes?
that when we originally made this agreement with Senior Resources, that they did not do the grants, get grants themselves, and they did not do activities themselves. And I have concerns now that we're asking them to do that and handle the money that goes out to all the other entities. And I know that they told us that, you know, this can't be found anywhere else. I think maybe they need to look harder or make some other arrangements. I think we've been into this millage for the last 4 years, 5 years, and I'm concerned that now they're asking for money to go to them. And that was one of the deals that we made when we did it, that they don't get extra money. And so I'm very concerned about that.
Yeah, Susie, in response to your concern, because of that contract issue, that's why we put out the RFP to see if there was anybody else in the community that could provide that service.
Did they provide us with a copy of the RFP?
The Senior Activities Committee saw it. I saw it. You know, we reviewed it.
And we got a list of the people that they tried to get to do it.
It went through the normal channels that RFPs go to, and there are a number of people that looked at it, but the only people, the only organization that applied was Senior Resources.
And you think
so
my concern is that a lot of people wouldn't apply because they didn't figure they could beat Senior Resources. So why would I do it? Why would I apply? So
well, I don't know that, you know, we don't know.
I don't
That's
even
a
know that for sure,
supposition.
but I mean, I would think, you know, I mean, the little corner grocery store is not gonna be as Walmart either, so.
Okay, are there any other concerns?
I have a question.
Yes.
So is this just another
Commissioner
one-year
Bigger.
contract?
Well,
This in here does not address
yeah,
contracts.
Kathy Moore.
17, 18, and 19 will address contracts.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
We're in number 16, right?
Kathy Moore, Public Health Director, and also your staff liaison for the Senior Resources Board, as well as the Senior Village Grant Dollars. This is just really to get clarification and to make sure that the board understands you're making a decision that is not very common in our normal business operation. So I just brought this motion here so you can consider that. If this passes, then I will bring the actual contract before the board next month.
That's my concern is
May I
that,
ask?
well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And that is my concern is that this is something that's not very usual to happen. We normally don't have the people that are in charge of the money, handing out the money, start asking for the money. And that's what my concern is.
So it is for 1 year, October 1, 2020 through September
That's what I was asking.
30th, 2021.
Right.
In the language.
But, I mean, September 2021 is almost here, so.
So the
Right.
board, I'm sorry, Kathy Morgan, the board previously approved a continuation of grants administration through September 2021. And so before we bring to you the renewal, because when you approved it, you approved a 1-year contract. We proposed a 3-year, and you wanted to settle or figure out the other portion, the other side of it. So that has been done, and that is why it is before you today, so that you are making a conscious decision. And it is an exception because we do not plan to allow this for other organizations in the future unless you make a similar exception.
May
And it was, we went through the process of the RFP as a result of the decision made here. So all the processes were gone through.
Commissioner Kobe, right?
Yes, Ms. Bingham.
Ms. Moore, so you mentioned you're gonna bring a contract forth next month. Obviously, this one was for this last year. So the contract you're bringing forth next month will be for the following year. Is that also 1-year contract as well? That's what I want to
We were going to bring it for the other 2 years, but it is the decision of the board to
Okay.
grant
Okay,
as many years as you like.
thank you.
I have a-
Okay, so we've been
Madam Chair.
working. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Seer, Commissioner Seer.
I don't know, it would seem to me that going forward, I would like to possibly see a 1-year contract and then continue to look for someone else to be the individual that, you know, administer that.
I would assume, yeah, Ms. Moore, that an RFP, Commissioner Kobe, right, an RFP would go out again at the end of that contract term or before the end, correct? Is that the process that they normally?
If it is the will and desire of the board, yes.
Normally, we renew contracts. These are 3 years. We renew every year without an RFP.
Well,
So-
might I make a recommendation then that we include the RFP process be included into that contract at the end of that 1 year?
I have
Within,
a
I guess,
question.
a 3-month period, maybe?
Another question too.
Yes,
One of the reasons that
Commissioner
we
Hughes.
held off on the contract was because they were asking us to give them money to use, correct?
Right, so the potential conflict could be raised by the other grantors where they are making a recommendation for grants for themselves. We tried to address it in a previous motion and make it an allocation, and that motion did not pass, or it failed for lack of a second, I forget. So I just, so I think sometimes, some board members are very adamant that we said the grants administrator cannot apply for grants. Yet over the years, we've had approval for these grants for senior resources. And so it is before you today, just so you know, you are making an exception, and we will proceed accordingly.
And you're asked, if you make this exception now, it's gonna go forward into their new contract? Is that what you're saying?
If you make this exception now, because the current grants administration will expire. We had approval with senior resources to provide grants administration services through September 30th. So this is to act basically for direction for October 1st. And so we would bring a contract to you.
Amended so that they could apply for the money?
No, to renew for 1 year or 2 years, the grants administration contract with senior resources.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions or concerns? Yes, Commissioner Nash.
And I guess this is for Ms. Moore, our administrator. The only concern that I have is that, does this in any way conflict with the language that we have with the millage?
No, we didn't spell that in the millage. We spelled that out in our RFP that went out.
Okay. Are we ready to vote? Okay, so it's, we're voting on 16. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Hughes,
No.
Commissioner Leary,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pego,
Pass.
Chairman Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Steer,
Pass.
Commissioner Pego,
No.
Commissioner Steer,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes.
It would be 7 yes, 2 no.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, so that passed. Moving on to HS 21/08-17, Public Health Kathy Moore to approve 41 senior millage funding awards totaling $1,776,820 for fiscal year 22, which starts October 1st, 2021, through September 30th, 2022, as recommended by Senior Activities Committee. So the committee reviewed, and to authorize the designated senior millage grants administrator to proceed with the administration of the program.
So moved.
Support.
Thank you. So Senior Activities Committee reviewed all of the programs and accepted the recommendation of senior resources. Are there any, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions or concerns? Mr. Steer, no, you're just looking at me. All right, okay.
I just wanted to make a quick comment.
Sure, Mr. Nash.
I'm assuming that the other grantors are satisfied with what we have on this listing, because I don't see anyone here. And realizing that we are making decisions on these budgets, I hope we don't have ones coming in afterwards talking about.
The entire list was reviewed by Senior Activities Committee and approved. They are not aware, are they, Kathy, yet, what the decision is made, has been made?
No, they will be notified upon approval at the full board. If you notice, Commissioner Nash, the 2021 recommendations and the 2022 recommendations, the grantees will receive either the same or a greater amount. And
Right.
so I would think they'd be pleased with that.
Yeah, I
And
don't
that
think
was
so.
my concern, because we
Yeah.
sometimes have one that come in after the fact.
Right.
It changes, but seeing that they're not here, I'm hoping that does not happen after this.
There were adjustments to the initial recommendations from 2021. And it aligned more with what they requested in their proposal.
Okay, so question. Madam
Yes.
Chair. So the people, the grantees here, they're not aware of these numbers, is that correct?
No, but they are receiving that amount now. for the most part, or less. I mean, they'll be getting more or the same. Okay, are we ready to vote? Okay, could we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pago,
Yes.
Chairman Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins, Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Seer,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Hughes.
Yes.
Okay, that was approved. Moving on to HS 21//08-18, Public Health Kathy Warren, to approve senior millage grant funding to be awarded to Senior Resources for continuation of the Medicare Medicaid Assistance Program in the amount of $22,400 for fiscal year 22. Excuse me, effective October 1, 2021 through September 30th, 2022.
So moved.
Support.
There's been a motion and a second. Are there any questions or concerns?
I have a question on this.
Yes.
What, we only got $22,400 for Medicare and Medicaid assistance?
Yes, that is to assist individuals in enrolling or filling out applications
Oh,
related
okay,
to
okay.
Medicare,
All right, it's
Medicaid.
just to help them do it. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a
That's-
navigator.
Okay, because I thought that, wow, that's not very much money. Okay,
No,
thank
that
you.
Medicaid.
Very part like the rest.
So just to highlight that, I brought this to you as a separate motion because they are also the grants administrator, and I think it's good for full disclosure that the board consider these individually instead of a group like the 41.
And in addition, they've been providing the service for a number of years, and they're the only ones doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready to vote? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Seer,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pago,
Yes.
Chairman Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes. Okay, so that passed as well. The next item on the agenda is HS 21/08-19, Public Health Kathy Moore, to authorize Public Health Department to change the vacant accounting technician position, GO 3007, from hourly to full-time to better align with the current programming needs and funding requirements with no change in general fund allocation.
So moved.
Support.
19. Did somebody second it?
Support.
Oh, I'm sorry, support, yeah, okay. Any questions or concerns?
I have a question on that. Oh, go ahead. Melinda.
Melinda, there you go.
Sure. So is this a position that is vacant right now, or you have someone there, or?
It is a vacant position. The staff person was on furlough, and when we called her back, she elected to resign. So it is currently vacant.
So do you have anyone already in line to move into that position, or you need to?
We do not. It's a union position, so we would post it internally as a union posting for 5 days. And then if no one in the union countywide applies, then it'll go out for open competitive.
Thank you.
And I have a question.
And it's fully budgeted. Yes, Commissioner Hughes.
I wonder why, I didn't realize you needed an accounting position in your department when we have an accounting department that normally handles, I thought, all of accounting.
So the both at quite a few departments, we have we're a special revenue fund, and so we get grant dollars that have, like for example, they have a lot of conditions, and we have our internal accounting that helps us comply with the state, and then we format it to conform with the county's process, and that's forwarded to county accounting, and then they make sure that we're in compliance with the county rules as well as the audit.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Okay, are we ready to vote? On 19. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Seer,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pago,
Yes.
Chairman Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes. That passed. Okay, moving on to HS 21/08-20. Public Health Kathy Moore to enter into contract agreement with Senior Resources of West Michigan for in-home care administration and coordination services for seniors effective October 1, 2021 through September 30th, 2022. So that's the next year. With 2 one-year renewal options at a cost not to exceed $386,000 for the first year of the grant cycle, $300 for in-home care services, that's and 86 for support coordination.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Support.
Who was that? Wilkins? Okay. Are there any questions or concerns?
I have a question. I thought we were just gonna do this for 1 year, and this is the 1 year with 2-year renewals. So you're asking actually for 3 years?
2 one-year renewals.
Yeah, so so we're asking for approval for the 1 year, and then we would bring it back to you for the next year. So when we say renewal, we mean without going through the RFP process.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions or concerns? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Waring,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pego,
Yes.
Chairman Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins, Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Seer,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes. So that passed with 9 yes votes. The last item for concern or consideration is HS 21/08-21, Public Health Kathy Moore to authorize Public Health Department to amend its fiscal year 21 budget from $9,254,543 to $9,195,710, which is less, to reflect changes in grants, fees, and other line items with no change in general fund allocation. Support. It's been moved and supported. Is there any questions or concerns?
I have a comment.
Yes, Mr. Skolnick. Commissioner Skolnick.
What, did you lose a grant or what happened?
We're just not gonna spend all of the grant dollars that were thrown at us. And then also, so you see that last page, revenues, federal and state grants, we're reducing that by 74,000. And then we really weren't sure with the temporary licenses for food events and festivals, but we recognized almost $16,000 more than what we budgeted.
You know, I'd also like to just make a comment. I was at had lunch at a restaurant the other day, and the owner came over and thanked me for that. Those refunds of their fees, even though that was months ago.
Yeah, so many of them on their check stubs just wrote thank you and how they've had such a hard year, and it really made a difference for them. So they were very grateful.
It's a good move.
And just to follow up on my comment was, I don't think I've ever seen anybody want to reduce their budget.
Yeah, really, I was
every year.
noticing that too. Yes.
I'd like to chime in. Thank you very much. Kathy.
Yeah, that's right. Wow.
Yes, I expected 9-0 vote on this. Okay. Speaking of which, let's have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Waring,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pego,
Yes.
Chairman Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins, Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Seer,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes.
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes. Okay, is there any unfinished business? Moving on to new business, any new business? Any public comment? No?
I don't see any.
No, okay. Any final board comment?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I just wanted to say that, regarding the contracts that we have with the senior village, I think this board has taken the proper steps and done their due diligence to make sure that we haven't found anyone else that could do this. And, seeing how we went through that process a couple of times, I think current decision we made is a good one. It does not conflict with any millage language that we have. And it's typically just an RFP request. But sometimes you have to make adjustments in those requests if you don't have the right person to meet those needs. So I think we've done our due diligence, and I think we're making a sound decision. We can keep providing those services to people in our community at a high level.
Yeah, excellent summary of all that we've done in this regard. We've been working on this since December, so this is, I'm very relieved that we finally got a resolution, so.
Madam Chair, I have a final
Mr.
comment.
Flaring, yes,
So I'd like to know where these things came from.
we had them before.
I had two commissioners request that they get reinstalled, so I suppose if I have two commissioners, you want me to take them down, it'll come to the board, to decide whether they want them or not.
So are they here to prevent the vaccinated from shedding to the unvaccinated?
I'll let a doctor expert tell them that works.
I know if you bring any in.
Mark asked me about putting them up, and I had read in the news that Muskegon was one of the 10 counties that was at risk for the new virus, and I asked him to install the.
But finishing my comment, I guess this equates to fear mongering, and I don't really appreciate it.
It is the least contentious thing to do in face of the Delta variant, and that's. I would say. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.